Now I can already hear the comments on this video, oh, why have you bought a car that just drives around schools, picks up Mackies and buys everything from Halfords? Plus they're everywhere, why don't you just buy a car that's unique? Well, as it turns out, I've actually grown to quite like the STs. Maybe I've immatured, or maybe it's actually a good car. So then let me run you through the basics. This is a Mark 7 Ford Fiesta ST in Spirit Blue, and unlike the Mark 8, I actually prefer the look of this one more. Now the one I've bought is the Mountune Tune 1, which means it has 215 horsepower from the 1.6 litre turbocharged engine as opposed to the 182 horsepower. 0 to 60 is around 6.5 seconds, and that's great. This one also has the style pack on, so it looks more yobbo-ish. So you're probably wondering what made me buy this car. There were a few reasons for my choice. One, I wanted something fun to drive on a daily basis. Two, I wanted something cheap to run. And three, I wanted something in the budget of 10k. And lastly, I wanted something smaller than my Land Rover. Of course, I've reviewed quite a few cars in my time, and obviously after much research, this seemed like the best option for me as a daily driver. And after I test drove it, it was better than expected, and it fit all my requirements. Now the best part of this car for me is the way it drives. It's brilliant. Ford have remembered the key mantra of a hot hatch, and that is focusing on things that are necessary for a hot hatch, like performance and suspension. They've really got this thing bang on right. The suspension's been lowered to a whole 15mm and stiffened, and as a result, the handling is so sharp and poised. That's because of the torque vectoring system it has, which basically uses the brakes to stop the front wheels from spinning in the corners. It also has such a great feel through the wheel. You feel the whole road and just where the car's going. It's fantastic. Also, the noise it makes is rather nice as well.
So, it's hot on the road, but what's it like as a hatch? It boasts a refined looking interior with lots of standard features all round, including Bluetooth, radio, aircon, heated seats and more. The centre console is full of buttons that even a Boeing 777 pilot would struggle with, but there we are. In the front there is enough space for two idiots, and the seats are Recaro bucket seats, so they hug you whilst you drive. In the back there is space for two more idiots and enough head and legroom too. The boot space is okay and pretty standard for a hatchback, although don't expect to get half of IKEA in there.
There is quite a bit in the interior overall. I mean, it is pretty much standard Ford Fiesta inside, apart from the seats and the ST steering wheel, which of course is fine. But Ford have remembered the necessary things to make a hot hatch, and that's what's great about it. Now on the ST3 version you of course do get more features like automatic lights, wipers, sat-nav, mirrors, etc. But for me, I wasn't really bothered about all those things, so I just got the ST2. You barely notice a difference when you're living with it, unless you really do want a tiny sat-nav in your life. I mean, honestly, that screen is ridiculous. This car, of course, isn't perfect. I mean, as you know, it's probably one of the most stolen cars in the UK, and that is a bit annoying to have in the back of your head. I do go to bed thinking, will the car be there in the morning, or will it be somewhere in Albania? You just never know. Of course, I mentioned the dash already, but I don't really like how many buttons there are for a car that's meant to be very simple on the flesh. It's, you know, a bit too much going on there. Of course, as we know, these cars are frowned upon due to their modding scene. I personally plan to keep this car completely standard. Of course, it's already got the Mountune map on it. The ST is good from the factory, so why change it? I do get why many people don't like them. I personally didn't like them before I actually drove it, and then it sort of changed my mind. You can't deny that this drives fantastically. I mean, it's just a proper hot hatch feel. It's what you really want, and that is a big reason why I bought this car. epic.
So then, the Ford Fiesta ST is a fantastic hot hatch, especially compared to its rivals. Overall, you get such a great driving feel for the money that comes with not only lots of features, but they're pretty reliable as well. I can see why people dislike these cars due to the modding and how common they are, but once you drive one, you'll realise how great they really are. I'd like to thank Sam from WorthReviewing, as he helped me loads with finding the right ST to buy, so go and check out his channel below.
So that is my new car, the Ford Fiesta Mark 7 ST. If you did enjoy this review and want to see more of this car on the channel, then make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.